So, what do I do?
The first day for an usher is pretty hard. Let's start easy and I'll give you a tour of the Berg Theater. Now over there are seats A through M, and to the right are seats N through Z. And most importantly, in the back next to the concession stands are the bathroom in case anyone asks. Okay?
Who is this little scrap of foot fungus?
I'm Paul Wilson, the new usher.
Nice to meet you, Paul.
Now tuck in your shirt and stand tall.
You're an usher and you'll be meeting some big names, so you don't see anything and you don't hear anything.
What? I didn't quite hear you.
But you also hear everything and see everything. Got it?
Yes, sir.
What are you looking at?
Nothing, sir, nothing. He's really a nice guy once you get to know him, yeah. On another note, we have some famous rock bands coming.
Like who?
Well, tonight we have the Plastic People of the Universe. They're a huge act for this little theater to have. The boss likes it when the big acts come because they bring lots of money.
I never had that much money growing up. I used to live with my grandmother.
Oh, that's really fascinating. And over here's the utilities closet.
Once I got there, it became an immediate addiction. I saved up my money from each week to go to Paradises and watch the girls. I noted how beautiful they were and marveled at the way they danced. It subtly inspired me. When I worked as an usher, I was but a boy being bossed around by all those around me. But here, all of the girls wanted me. At Paradises, I was king. And here, I gave the orders. As time went on, I was promoted to a new theater.
This is much fancier than the place I worked out in the suburbs. You have no idea. The names that come here make those other music halls look like they have high school talent show lineups. Where do you think this customer is going to be seated? I don't know. Back middle, maybe? You have to learn how to read a customer. This customer is going to be seated in the front right. He is wealthy, but wants to hide on the edge of the theater to protect any snobby views of him. How did you figure that out? I serve the king of rock and roll, Elvis.
And as time went on, I learned much from Zdeno. He always knew where every customer would be seated solely based on appearance. And when I asked him how he knew, he'd always say,
I serve the king of rock and roll.
Over time, I noticed a new trend in the customers. The small LaRouche movement had grown, and more customers wore bands advertising their allegiance to LaRouche. On one particular evening, our largest act ever came to Ring Theater, and I was entranced.
I can't get no, da-na-na. I can't get no satin.
And then all of a sudden, his microphone went out.
Hey, what the hell? Me mic went out.
And so this was my chance. Without hesitation, I brought him a new microphone, even though that was Zdeno's job.
Satisfaction when I'm driving in my car and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm trying to meet some girls.
Later, backstage, the unbelievable came true.
Hey, are you Paul the usher who gave me the mic out there?
Yes, sir, I am.
Hello, I'm Mick Jagger. Bloody hell, bloke, you really got me out of fix. My knickers were really in a twist out there. Here, take this shirt for my thanks. Alright, where's the lift? Look, I'll go to the loo.
Well, right this way, sir.
Right.
Meeting Mick Jagger was one of the highlights of my life. I felt something I hadn't felt before. And now when Zdeno asked me where so-and-so sat, I knew immediately, for I had served Mick Jagger. Another life-changing event happened to me around the same time. I met the love of my life, Lisa. She was the most beautiful girl I ever laid my eyes on. She had pouting red lips, hair that flowed like the river Styx, and childbearing hips I wanted to fill with children.
Excuse me, can you tell me where seat 3C is?
Yes, of course I'll show you.
Thank you.
Hey, watch where you're going. You're one of those LaRouche people, aren't you? We don't like you in our theaters.
Hey, don't you talk to her that way. Now step off.
That was so sweet. Thank you.
And then the unbelievable came true. She kissed me. Lisa and I began seeing each other. We wanted to take baby steps, but we stopped playing footsies because we were head over heels in love. And as we did, I began seeing more and more of the LaRouche people. In the theater, on the street, and on TV. We were in love, and so we got married.
Do you, Paul Cheb Wilson, take Lisa to be your lawfully wedded wife?
I do.
Do you pledge that Dick Cheney is the devil?
Why not?
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may now kiss the bride. Hail LaRouche! Hail LaRouche! Hail LaRouche! Hail LaRouche!
Despite marrying an upper-rank LaRouche officer, I was still shunned by the LaRouche people. I was just never good enough for them. By being married to Lisa, such a high officer for LaRouche, I stopped working at the theater. I also found out through the news that the LaRouche people had taken over completely and began to suppress the other political parties. Hundreds of Republicans and moderates, and even a number of Democrats were murdered and sent to camps. One afternoon, I ran into my former co-usher, Zdeno. He looked at me with disdain and then continued to ignore me. I rarely saw Lisa as she was representing LaRouche in areas abroad. Time went on, and the unbelievable came true again. Somehow the Democrats, the Republicans, and the moderates formed a united front and began to beat back LaRouche. On one cold autumn morning, I received word that Lisa had been assassinated by a libertarian. She did, however, leave me with some rare collector's baseball cards she confiscated during a Republican raid. I sold these and bought my own theater. My theater was the talk of the country. My theater not only attracted the biggest names, but even the owners of all the other theaters in the area. My building was the most acoustically sound, there wasn't one bad seat in the house, and the theater was adorned with fine artwork. And my theater was the only place where each seat would massage you during a performance without making a single sound. One day, when the socialists regained control, I was told I would no longer own my theater, and it was going to be devolved to the people. I was outraged, but then I found out that there was a millionaires' camp. The millionaires' camp was punishment for all the elite rich people who oppressed the lower classes during the reign of LaRouche. I begged to be sent there, and I had to show them my bank account information to prove that I was a millionaire too. Let me in. I swear I'm a millionaire. Sure you are, you clump of toe jam. No, look. Here, these papers prove that I have $2 million and that I ran the most successful theater in all of the land. Let me see that. Looks fine, I guess. Come on inside.
Hey guys, I'm Paul. I'm a millionaire too. Hey, aren't you my old boss? Do you remember me?
Oh, I remember you. I never thought you'd amount to anything. I guess I was right. He's just a no-good war profiteer. The worst kind of human. I agree. Scum of the earth.
I'm so alone, and I have no friends.
I spent 9 months at the millionaires' camp. I was never accepted by anyone but the birds. After it shut down, I went to an employment office and got a job mending roads way out in the woods. Initially, when I worked on the road, it was just a job. But after a while, I realized the road was a metaphor for my life. Despite my diligent labor on the road, I could never make it perfect. There was always something like weeds or a rainstorm that would ruin my work to the point that it looked like no work was done in the first place. And that's okay, because I no longer needed gratitude for my work. I just needed to be content with myself. In my nights of solitude, I started talking to myself, and that's when I really began to understand who I was. And I asked the real tough questions about life, the questions I had been avoiding through the distractions of women, money, and ego. The most unbelievable thing of all came true. I spent my entire life trying to fit in by attaining material possessions, but it took me until my twilight years to realize that what really mattered is true acceptance of myself.